In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, where thousands of species debated the laws that shaped the galaxy, the atmosphere was heavy with arrogance. The council chambers floated in the heart of the central nebula, a structure of crystal and light, built by civilizations that had ruled the stars for millennia. They saw themselves as eternal, untouchable, the keepers of peace and order. Humanity was their newest addition, a young species that had climbed from a single blue world into the interstellar stage far faster than most thought possible. But that rise had not come without envy. Humans had challenged trade monopolies, questioned old decrees, and built colonies in sectors once thought uninhabitable. Their ships moved faster, their reactors burned brighter, and their resolve was something the Council had never seen before. For the older species, humanity was not a partner. They were a threat waiting to happen. The first motion came quietly, a sanction disguised as a regulatory adjustment. Then came the tariffs, the restrictions, the demands for technology transfers. Humanity protested through diplomatic channels. Their ambassadors spoke with patience, appealing to reason and fairness. Yet in the high chamber, whispers turned into laughter. The humans, they said, were too emotional, too impulsive, too young to understand the balance of power. Still, the humans endured. They continued to build, to explore, to negotiate. But the Council did not stop. When one human colony on the frontier was struck by raiders armed with weapons of Council design, humanity demanded justice. The Council denied responsibility. When a second colony vanished, they offered condolences, not answers. And when a third was blockaded under the guise of security inspection, the patience of Earth began to thin. On Earth, within the mountain city where the human assembly met, the mood shifted from diplomacy to determination. For decades, they had sought peace through cooperation. Now they began to see that peace was a tool the Council used to keep them weak. Their fleets were recalled from deep space. Their scientists began working in silence. Their shipyards glowed day and night. Satellites once meant for communication were replaced with sentinels of defense. Every nation, every colony, every human world moved as one, the Council noticed. They sent envoys, warnings, ultimatums. The humans replied with calm words, but no compliance. The tension stretched like a wire ready to snap. Then it did. A human convoy carrying refugees from a besieged colony was destroyed in neutral space by ships bearing the insignia of the Council's enforcement arm. The explosion was seen across a dozen systems. Humanity had lost not soldiers but families, children and elders. The broadcast of that tragedy reached every human home, every outpost, every starship. The next day, Earth went dark. No transmissions, no ambassadors, no trade. For the first time in centuries, the planet that had given birth to humanity turned inward. The Council mistook this for surrender. They were wrong. Weeks later, their mistake began to burn through the void. Council patrol fleets near human space began vanishing. Entire stations went silent. Merchant routes that once connected 100 worlds were suddenly empty. The Council dispatched a battle group to investigate. Only fragments of their distress calls were ever received. At first, the Council blamed pirates, then dissidents. But as the pattern continued, dread began to grow. Their analysts studied the wreckage. What they found terrified them. The destruction bore the precision of human engineering. Energy signatures unlike anything on record. Weapons that bent space itself. The Council had provoked a species that learned faster than any other, adapted quicker than logic should allow. When the humans returned to the galactic channels, they did not speak in anger. Their message was short, calm, and final. You struck at our people. You silenced our children. Now, we will show you silence. The first wave of retaliation was not a war. It was a demonstration. Council shipyards on the border systems were neutralized with surgical precision. Their fleets were disabled, not destroyed. Their leaders were warned, not slain. Humanity gave them a chance to stop. But arrogance is a stubborn thing. The Council believed they could overpower Earth with numbers. They assembled the Grand Armada, the largest military force in recorded history. Thousands of ships gathered around the twin suns of the core sectors. The council leaders declared that the humans would kneel or be erased. Humanity answered. From the black edge of space they came, not in scattered fleets but as a single entity. Their ships were unlike anything seen before, sleek, angular, and cloaked in fields that distorted light itself. They did not broadcast identification codes or communicate in standard frequencies. They appeared, fired once, and vanished again. The battle that followed lasted less than an hour. The Grand Armada, once the symbol of galactic dominance, ceased to exist. Observers described it as a storm of invisible fire. Energy arcs ripped through cruisers, battleships, and carriers alike. The Council's command signals were jammed, their weapons useless. When the light cleared, only wreckage remained. The humans did not pursue survivors. They had made their point. Fear spread faster than light. Worlds once loyal to the Council began closing their borders. Trade routes collapsed. The Council's authority crumbled under its own weight. But the humans did not conquer. They did not claim territory. They simply withdrew, leaving the ruins behind as a warning. The surviving Council members convened in secret. Their meeting, meant to rebuild order, turned into confession and despair. They realized too late that the humans had never sought dominance. They only wanted respect, and when denied it, they had shown the cost of arrogance. Months passed. The galaxy grew quieter. Communication channels that once overflowed with politics now carried whispers of fear. On the edges of known space, human ships began appearing again, not for war, but for rebuilding. They offered aid to neutral worlds, repaired damaged stations, and restored systems crippled by the Council's collapse. The message was clear. Humanity did not destroy for pleasure. They destroyed to protect what mattered. The Council's fire had awoken something ancient in them, something that remembered the long nights of survival, the cold endurance of struggle, the unity born from hardship. In time, the Council disbanded. The Great Hall of Crystal and Light was left abandoned. Its once shining spires dimmed. The galaxy entered a new era, not ruled by decrees but by respect. Humanity did not take the throne. They refused it. Instead, they formed a coalition of equals, inviting any who wished to stand without fear or subjugation. And though many still whispered of the day Earth set the stars ablaze, none dared provoke them again. For they understood now that humans were not conquerors, but guardians of their own destiny. Their fire was not born of hatred, but of memory, of every world lost, every voice silenced, every injustice endured. In the end, the Council's mistake became the galaxy's lesson. Power built on arrogance will always fall to those who remember what they fight for. And somewhere, on the blue world that started it all, humanity watched the stars with calm eyes, knowing that peace, when defended by strength, could finally endure. The galaxy would remember, not the destruction nor the silence, but the truth the humans had taught them. That respect is earned not by decree, but by will. And the will of humanity, once provoked,